guys, and welcome back to another episode of your Brains Coach podcast. I'm your host, Angela Shurina. I'm your Brains Coach and just someone with a lot of passion for helping you guys to learn all the brain tools you can use to feel, do, and look your absolute best. Because guys, it's all in the brain. Every single decision, every single thought, every single feeling, habit formation, it's all in the brain, and how well we are able to help our brain to do its best job to build the lives that we want to live. It's all in the brain, guys. And I'm very excited to share all of these studies and research and books and amazing toolkits that come out from all the different parts of the world in all different neuroscience labs, right? It's so fascinating for me. And every time I apply something and it works, I get such a buzz, and I just want to share it with everyone because we can feel so much happier. We can do so much better. We can make progress in our lives faster and with less suffering, right? It's just fascinating. I love it. Love sharing with you guys. So happy Monday. And about Happy Monday, I actually want to share with you something about feeling better this Monday and for the rest of the week. Because guys, yesterday I spent some time with a friend of mine. He's an amazing friend and always makes me feel just good inside. You know, when you spend time with people you love, you start feeling like the sun is shining inside of you. And I went to my workout and it felt like everyone around me was also smiling. And I realized like what we feel inside, it really is reflected in other people. We are very sensitive beings, whether we realize that or not. We feel when somebody feels great inside, and when somebody feels not so good. We feel when something is off or something is, bothering us. We all feel that, right? And by changing how we feel inside, we influence a lot of other people just by being in the world. So creating this positive feeling energy in ourselves, I feel like this is our primary responsibility, and so few people manage it. We kind of react to the world that has no lack of things that can upset us or can disturb our mental and emotional state in some way, right? And if we just react without choosing how we actually want to feel, what we actually want to think of, reflect on, and whether we want to see the glass as half full or half empty, or as one of the people on my social media told me, I see a glass as refilling, always refilling, right? Just like when you open your tap with water, there is always water. It's never ending, right? So that's how he feels about the whole glass metaphor. And I'm like, yeah, that is such an amazing metaphor. I should think more about life and energy and everything in it as a tap water that just, coming and coming. And there is always something in the glass. But anyhow, it's all the glass metaphor. It's about how we look at things, changes the things, right? Again, the glass half empty, half full, and then it changes your state. I'm like, I still have half a glass. There is water and I can make more and I will make more, right? And it changes your whole dynamic, how you approach your day. And I started reading this book, and I'm going to share with you more insights because I feel they are applicable not just for teams and companies that the book is written about, but also for us personally. So the book's title is Trust Factor, the Science of Building High-Performing Companies. And it's written by the director of Neuroeconomics Studies, Institute of Neuroeconomics Studies, Paul Zak. I interviewed Paul and had a few conversations with him. An amazing, very inspiring scientist who also puts all his discoveries into real world solution, right? Always like so many stories and such engaging conversations. But anyhow, the book is about helping companies to thrive, focusing on companies as collective of human beings who have their lives, their feelings, and we function as human beings, not as machines, right? Our thoughts, our relationship dynamics. And so in the book, in the first couple of chapters, he's focusing on positive reinforcement. Basically, we need to encourage each other, ourselves, our teammates, encourage with positive feedback more, and that produces more change, and that makes people over deliver. And that, again, turning back to us, we often, I don't know about you, but I often fall into this pattern, noticing things when I accomplish them, but not celebrating them really all that much, even though I talked a lot about that. And instead focusing on things that I haven't yet done, things that are not really falling into place, things that are still challenging and I need to work on. I'm focusing on the gap, right? On the lack, on the glass half empty. And I realized that when I was reading the book and this chapter on Ovation or positive reinforcement and how doing different research and studies in different companies, so real data from real life, they noticed that people would work so much more and better and harder with more enthusiasm when they are positively reinforced. When you give Ovation different positive, surprises, when you acknowledge people's good deeds and results, especially publicly, right, in some tangible, unexpected, and personal way. One of the key takeaways from the Ovation chapter. And in companies, again, when people get positive reinforcement and when they do something that is not exactly positive, right, maybe mistake, maybe they're falling on their performance indicators, falling back. And if you don't focus on that, but instead, let's work on that. Let's improve that. That was really good, but let's work on that. That seems to need more improvement, right? You say, yeah, that is amazing what you're doing already. Thank you for doing the great job with this and that and that. And let's now also work on that because that seems to be an area of challenge, right? Not telling people or we're going to cut your salary or reduce your bonus until you bring these numbers back up, like, for example, in sales department, something. People would be fearful and they would do the job, but just enough, and they will never be as enthusiastic or trying to over deliver or motivated to create something extraordinary for the company, for the customers, and for themselves, right? So positive reinforcement. And as I was reading the chapter, I'm like, maybe that's why for the past couple of weeks, I've been feeling kind of not exactly up, but more on a challenged side, right? Not really down because I manage my emotions pretty well, but also not excited about a lot of my things in life. And I'm like, that's because, Angela, you don't acknowledge your own accomplishment, your small improvements every single day, the work that you put into studying, into work, into your clients, into reaching out and creating new opportunities for yourself and others. You don't acknowledge those things because nobody is either, giving you a bonus, or it's not such a something super, huge that you can show off on Instagram or something. You don't acknowledge those things. But when you don't meet somebody else's expectations or your own, you notice that very much and kind of that didn't go well. I tend to ruminate more on the negative. And I realized that's why maybe your performance is not where it could be. Maybe you also should apply that to yourself and be more positively reinforcing every single good thing that you move forward and accomplish every single day, right? And the takeaway from today's episode, guys, maybe if you aren't feeling that enthusiastic about some things happening in your life, maybe you'll also fell into this pattern of noticing what's not going right or what you haven't accomplished. It's the end of the year, right? Less than a month. Don't ruminate on things that you haven't done. Maybe throw away the goal list that you created for 2022 and create a new list, not with goals, but with things that you worked on, that you stayed committed to, that you moved forward no matter what happened in your year and in your life. Maybe focus on those things. And today, sit down. If you need more motivation, if you need more good vibes and good feelings, sit down and give a standing ovation to yourself. Make a list of all the things that you did right, that you moved forward, that you stayed committed to. Write them all down. from the smallest one, like going to the gym, maybe not every day like you planned or 3 times per week, but you're still going. Maybe eating not ideally healthy like you planned and sticking to some meal plan, but maybe better than usual, and you're still sticking with it, still inspired to do better. At work, right? Maybe you didn't hit all your business goals like I didn't, but you moved forward and you improved and you in a much better place and you created a momentum and right, you invested in creating a lot of content, built connections, brought in new customers, started new business. Like there are so many things you also probably have done this year and you're just not acknowledging them because you're focusing on the gap. And strategic coach, that's the company, Dan Sullivan, that's, he's the coach of coaches, like for entrepreneurs, like just seem to have really great company helping other entrepreneurs to thrive. One of the mentors that I look up to. And he co-authored one of the books, Gain, Not Gap. And that's exactly about that. As a business owner, as an entrepreneur, there are always going to be things that are not going your way. Always. But focus on the progress, because that will give you the good vibes, the motivation, the drive, the energy to move forward with a completely different vibe. Like you are unstoppable, right? So focus on the gain, focus on the progress, not on the gap, not on the glass half empty, not on what you're missing, right? So sit down today and write down the list. And I'm going to do it also today at night. Write down the list of things that went right, that you worked on, that you stayed committed to. Let's do this and see how much better you'll feel immediately. And again, it's not going to be think positively or hyping yourself up. No, just look at what you did in your real life and feel so much better about yourself. And when you feel better, you'll do so much better. And latest neuroscience research on high performance shows that's exactly true and what we need to do for ourselves and for our companies and teams. That's about it, guys. Hope you found this episode very useful and aspirational. And the exercise, do that and you'll feel unstoppable and you'll keep going till the rest of this year and many, many, many years ahead of you. The best is yet to come. So thank you, guys. Stay tuned for the rest of the week. Can't wait to talk to you again and have an awesome week. And don't forget to do the exercise. Talk to you very soon.